Great Writers Media.
I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we're taking a look into the poetic world of Synthia Zarreen. She's the author of an amazing book called Life Lessons and Love. This captivating collection of poetry distills the author's personal experiences, transforming moments of pain and joy into universal lessons. Join us as we explore how her heartfelt words aim to connect and inspire readers around the world. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank the team at Great Writers Media for helping us put her in the spotlight today. And we ask viewers like you to support authors like her by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing her beautiful book. The links are below this interview. Synthia, wonderful to see you here today on Spotlight.
Thank you very much, Logan, for inviting me in the spotlight and giving me this space to introduce myself to the world and talk about my writing, the poems that I have written and published in a book called Life Lessons and Love. Thank you for the beautiful introduction. I'm really touched by, I'm really happy that you have noticed my writing, because we live oceans apart, but you notice something, So I'm really happy that that I'm a debutant, so I'm not a very professional writer, but whatever I've written, I'm written from my heart. So it's from a very authentic space and a very genuine space. So I hope I can connect with the hearts of other people. That is my motivation, to find my soul tribe, to find my soul family, those who understands me, those who are like-minded, those who are looking for some answers. Hopefully from my journey, I can give them some valuable lessons that will benefit them in the long run.
Absolutely. You've written beautiful words on the pages of this book, and they really do stand out across oceans, across continents, without a doubt. Tell us a little bit what inspired you to start writing poetry and compile the poems into Life Lessons and Love.
So when you are looking at my book, from the name, it's very evident. It's regarding some lessons and my idea of love. What is love? Okay, so when 2 years back, I lost my husband, so he passed away. And that time I was very isolated because I have moved to UK being his spouse, and my family is back home, my close friends, my cousin circle, all those we call family, a support system. So I was very isolated, and I have a responsibility of a child, and he was only 6 years old. So that time I had to just go into the duty mode, because I just had to do what a woman in her space had to do, being a mom, being a caregiver, and I had to handle all the legal formalities. You can understand the legal procedures when a person pass away in this society. Even in that mental phase, I just had to be very focused and very task oriented. I didn't have space to grieve or properly handle my emotions. So my constructive outlet, because if I don't handle it, I was getting numb, and I didn't want depression or any kind of sadness to settle within me that would ruin my other aspect of life, being happy with my son, being attentive to him. So I stopped myself, no, I can't afford to be grieving. I can't afford to lose myself in this grief. So I started journaling. I started writing. From an analytical point of view, I started noticing our heart, like human heart. Why do we grieve? Why do we have this, emptiness when somebody passes out? So I start noticing my emotions rather than reacting in my everyday life. I started journaling. I started completely analyzing my life from a childhood to till that point. So I started, because I couldn't pretend and act that everything is fine when deep down there was a big grief. And if I didn't handle that grief, it would consume every part of me. I didn't want to stop myself from feeling that grief. I didn't want to go into a numb mode. We do that as a human, because we have to take care of our duties no matter what. Life goes on no matter what. So that is the beginning of my journaling phase. Like as a human, why do we feel what we feel? Because if I didn't have a constructive outlet of that pain was trying to consume the other aspect of my life. And I didn't want that. So I started journaling, I started reflecting. And I knew a lot of people, they don't have that space to reflect within. Because I was tied up with duties. And I can understand in this structure, in this society, people doesn't give you that much time to grieve properly. They just want you back as a robot. Like, just forget about your grief. We don't want to hear about your grief. Just get into back. Like, get into your, what you can do for us, not what. So that moment, I had to be my hero, kind of because I used to love that song, Mariah Carey, like hero. There's a hero within you. Like, so only when you have faced this much pain and with so little support, emotional support, then you start looking inward, what strength you have. And that was I think that was my turning phase, because I started noticing my own inner strength, not based on my family or my friends or my co-workers, but what I have within me, the core. I start reflecting, and I can feel a lot of people, once they read my book, they analytically, like in a logical way, in a sensible way, now their emotion will make sense, because they were not given that option, just to, understand their emotions, why we feel pain as a human, why do we miss somebody, because we were not ready to give up that role as a wife. But I lost my husband. So I was grieving that part of me as well, that I can't be a wife to a man, but I like being a wife. I like taking care of a man. But suddenly, in 4 months, my life just completely drastically changed. He had a stroke, a brain stroke. And after that, within 4 months, his health deteriorated so much that his body couldn't, sustain. But we are never prepared. Even if a person is in the hospital for 2-3 years, even then you feel like, okay, one day they will come back home. But it's a very difficult phase. But I had my ups and downs, but hopefully writing and journaling and now talking to others. And once you understand you are not alone, a lot of pain starts to melt away, because you feel that, a lot of people understand what we have gone through. It's not I'm not the only one, but most of the people, we don't have that opportunity to talk, to actually have a conversation. Okay. So I'm really happy that the world, like you, Kate, you have given me the space just to open up, be my authentic self, and you have given me this space. Like, okay, let's talk. Let's talk as one human to another human, not the status, not the fake personality we have built to protect ourselves from we just talk from one human being to another human being. Let's have a conversation. And I really thank you for that. And also, a lot of people have supported me throughout the journey.
Wonderful. You're very right about so much that you've said there, that people don't give you the time to grieve, that people expect you to get your life back in order right away. And, you've been through something devastating, and other people have been through similar devastating situations where they've lost a loved one. And rebuilding is difficult because your life was built around that person. So I absolutely understand your loss. I understand your grief. I understand your concern that society doesn't necessarily hold you in the right place or give you enough time during that awful, awful period in your life. And sharing these poems really is so hopeful and helpful, because, like you said, there is a shared experience. There are commonalities that people will learn how to deal with the pain, how to remember their loved one by reading your poems, don't you think?
I think at least they can feel that even grief is a part of life. It cannot consume your whole life. You have to learn a difficult lesson, a very difficult lesson, but you are strong enough, and that's why you are given that lesson. But your lesson will inspire so many other people. So even the pain is giving you some gain. So even if you have the right mentality to handle your pain, even the pain cannot break the human spirit. So that is the beauty of being human. So now I'm embracing that, because I on the Facebook or a lot of famous people, they had a lot of struggling days, but we don't talk about that. People only notices you when you are at a certain point of being successful. But you had your own share of stories. You, even if I talk to you from deep, like from your like inspirational days to now where you are, there will be moments that if you recall them, you will cry because you were feeling that hopeless. But then again, this is the beauty of human spirit. You didn't give up. You could have given up, but you didn't give up. So there was something stronger in you that was stronger than the situation. So only by going through that phase, you know where is your true strength. So this is what I've learned. Human spirit is beautiful. You know, when we are noticing our beauty, all this, you will know you are so much more worth than a cream of, say, you are worth it, something like that. You know, your human spirit is so beautiful. Just by being a human, you can understand so many things in life. So we are so much worth, like, you know, we are worthy. We are worthy to be humans.
Exactly. And you're right, human spirit is amazing. Let's talk a little bit about your poems. Which poem in your collection is the most impactful for you or holds the most significance for you?
See, there are my poetry book. It covers a lot of different topics. It's only not about love. Because it's life lessons. We have so many different aspects of us when you reflect back. Okay, childhood trauma initially. Okay, these are certain things you have to work through. So childhood trauma, grief, and then there was like the first poetry is, I know I exist. Since I exist, I matter. The self acceptance, self validation. Your validation first starts with you. First, you have to feel that validation as a human being, that since I exist, since I'm a human being, I matter. And slowly, you build on that. But if your initial validation is based on only the external situations, so people can manipulate you very quickly. Because one day they will put you on your crown, and another they can just throw you in the ground. So this kind of attitude, it can have a very very detrimental effect on your mental well-being, because one day they're treating you so nice, another day you just don't exist for them. So if you don't have that inner validation that I exist, maybe some people is not noticing my worth, but I know I'm adding some value to this earth and to this universe. My energy is valuable, so whatever I'm doing it consciously. So the first poetry, this one was like, I know I exist. This is a self kind of, I talk on behalf of everyone who is voiceless right now, because maybe their upbringing is like, after you reach a certain point in life, you exist, you matter. You become a CEO, you exist, you matter. You give me money, you exist, you matter. No, you exist, you matter. The moment you are born, look at the couples who don't have a child, how much they're trying for a child. So the moment you are born into this world, you have a purpose. You have a vision. Maybe you don't know it right away, but in the long run, there is a plan for you. So no matter who says what in your high school, in your like school life or anything, don't be so desperate to give up your life just because your grade is low or something like that. A lot of people, if you see, like a lot of celebrities, maybe they have failed in some exams or something, but they didn't they didn't let it bother, and now they are known worldwide because they had some other passion. Maybe they were a fish and the society was telling you are a monkey, but they were a fish. They knew how to swim, but they were like insisting like you climb the tree. No, we are born with different talents. Different people have different kinds of talents. So you just wait. If somebody's criticizing you, wait and watch. You do what you are good at, focus, move on. So
Wonderful advice for sure. To do what you're good at and to focus. Tell us a little bit about how you hope your readers will connect and benefit from your poems.
Um, I have given my books to some of the close friends, like as my brother or some people that whose opinion I value, because they will not give me, something just out of spite or jealousy. They will give me genuine opinion.
Yeah.
So a lot of times I felt like a lot of some guys, they are very shy with words. They don't know how to say things, articulate their feelings, because guys are very like structured. They like a lot of things logically presented to them. So when they read it, like okay, this is what my heart feels, but you have written it for me. So I feel a lot of people who are not very good with words or express themselves clearly, once they read my poetry, they will feel like, okay, it's in within me, and she just wrote it for me. So it's in my heart, and somehow she just knew my feelings because she's a human being. She could understand. So they will feel seen, heard, and understood. Maybe they will feel like, okay, this she is very genuine. She's not telling things that we want to hear, but rather she's doing her best to remove some confusion within our consciousness. She's doing her best to connect us to our authentic self. Because being authentic, a lot of places you are not appreciated for being authentic. Rather, if you have a fake smile and yes sir attitude, they will appreciate you more for the time being. Okay. But in the long run, it is your essence that will get the respect. Okay. Even too much yes sir, at the long run, they can't handle the competition because there is nothing much within themselves. You have to be rich within your internal world to, so when there are a lot of people who reads my poetry, they will feel enriched. They will feel like, oh, so now it makes sense to my mind, because I was feeling like this. I was feeling very anxious, but I didn't know why. So maybe they will think, okay, now, yeah, during my childhood, yes, I have noticed that, but I didn't know what it was, because we at childhood we had so many things happening to us, but we didn't connect the dots when we grew up because we were not given that space. But on behalf of everybody, I have done my reflection and I've written the book. I have been brave enough. Yeah, okay, I have touched a lot of topics like, forgive your parents. Maybe some parents might get angry, but I'm a parent myself, and I hope to give this book to my son to even understand so that he can forgive me and he can live without any anger or any frustration. Because even I'm a human being. I make my mistakes and he makes his mistakes. So there is like at the end, it's like forgive each other. Like you forgive yourself and you forgive your parents because they are also another human being. They are just doing their level best at that point of existence. So we are all doing our level best at that from that moment with the resources we have. We have very limited resource on this earth. So sometimes even when we want to do a lot of things, but we have to hold back because we don't have the resource. So it was like I touched a lot of points, but then I made them understand. I give them an explanation, like, they were just human beings. They were doing the best they had with whatever they had at that point. So just forgive and forget. Like, okay, move on.
Exactly.
Not
Great
forget. I
advice.
don't forget.
Everybody's got some kind of problem with their upbringing. Your parents do the best they can possibly do.
Yeah.
Forgive them and move on for sure, because kids aren't given an instruction manual, and sometimes parents make mistakes, but everyone really try to do their best. Tell me how your cultural background has influenced your poems.
See, cultural background is my root, and I don't forget my root. Okay. I am a person, I move on, but I don't forget anything. I said forgive and forget. No, it's forgive and overlook their mistakes because I don't forget. If you forget, you don't learn the lesson. I don't want the history to repeat itself. So if you forget, the history repeats itself because you become lenient and you become careless. And the person who have a tendency to be narcissistic, they will continue their manipulation game. So forgive and overlook, but you cannot forget who has given you like true witness of who they are as a person. So you maintain a relationship, but you know your limit, boundaries. So having boundaries is very, very important in this world. So as I move on with my life, like now I'm noticing all these small details. Before, I didn't understand the value of this, having boundaries and all this. So now I hope from now on I can live a much authentic life without upset.
Has your poetry evolved over the years, and what has influenced that evolution?
Of course, poetry has evolved because my thoughts have developed, my awareness, not my thoughts, but my awareness, even when we confirm the meeting that we will be talking, from that point, this point, the moment you are meeting me actually, there is a transition in my awareness. There is a growth, there is a development, there's a preparation. So I am a learner for life. So even the moment I started writing 2 years ago, and the moment the book was published, for me, that was a learning for that phase of life. But now I've moved to another phase of now I can observe and witness what happens after my writing is in the it's reaching the other people who needs to reach this height. Okay, but I have moved to another height. I have become more like an observer. I don't take things any personally, because these are all, they are saying their comment from their level of awareness. Okay, so I'm holding space for them. I have grown from getting unhealthy attachment to my writing. Like, I'm just observing them, and I have moved on to a wider awareness that okay, they have their own opinion and they're entitled to that. So it is, most of the people, they have people who have reached out to me, they were very kind. And Facebook group, I have that life lesson and love with Synthia. So from there, people have appreciated my work, like whatever I've published as small bits and pieces. So we could relate. I told you, I like opening discussion. It's not like I am right or you are right. No, we all have our own perception, because we are all standing on different points of view. We are all having, like, you are seeing 6, I'm seeing 9. So that doesn't mean you are wrong or I'm wrong. We are having the same scenario. We are observing from different point of view. So if we discuss, then our sense of reality becomes richer. We have a better understanding of what's real in this world, what's actually happening. So only when we open up a conversation, only then our awareness expands, our consciousness expands. Yeah. So my writing, the whole journey, the whole process, it's all building. It's like I'm learning, and I enjoy the whole journey. So of course there's an expansion, and it is expanding. And even talking to you today, this is a new experience for me. So every moment I'm learning.
Exactly.
Right now there was a phone call. Suddenly I was like, but okay, this is just another thing.
Right. Wonderful. Well, you're good at talking, you're good at writing, you're a beautiful poet, that's for sure. What are some of the recurring themes that the readers will find in Life Lessons and Love?
Recurring theme is one thing I have heard a lot of time in the Facebook community. A lot of school teachers us a lot of things, education institute, but they don't teach us how to love ourselves unconditionally, unselfishly. Just love yourself the way you are. No demand from you. I have to be a CEO. I have to have my own company. Before you reach that, just the way you are, with your darkness, with your light, with your strength, with your weakness, the complete package. Just to love yourself unconditionally and unselfishly. So this I have really highlighted throughout, that love yourself just the way you are, live in harmony with the world, with the universe. Don't limit yourself to the human society. The humans, if you feel like imprisoned, your thoughts feel like imprisoned, if you are just seeing yourself through the societal point of view, because you are capable of so much more. You have the capacity to understand the universe. And now you are in the universe. This earth is like a sand. And in the sand, there is the human society. So if you compare the size, in the universe, it's just a piece of sand. And then you are investing all your capacity to understand, into the society. So you feel very dull and bored, because the same structures, patterns, narcissistic abuse, and this and that, like all the negativity is consuming you. But if you focus on the world or the environment, in the beauty of this world, nature, you feel much more relieved that you are part, like, you're living in a bigger, community, not limited to the only the global community.
Yeah, absolutely. What are you working on now? Are you working on new poems? Are you thinking about putting together another book? Tell us a little bit about future projects.
So if people love the way I write and they can connect to me, I am always writing. Okay, so it is my, whenever I feel like I write. So I like writing, I like expressing myself. And you just mentioned that you can express yourself well. So I keep expressing myself. So if I'm right now working on Audible, those who don't like to read that much, maybe the sound version will, because they're driving, they can hear it, listen to it. So, so I'm working on Audible. And then I have the writing material. If somebody shows interest in me, but I want to go maybe a traditional publisher. Okay, somebody, because I have gone for self-publication the first time. I didn't know anything about the publication world, so I was really very new. And then Wordsworth Publishing House, they have Mr. Elliot. He was looking. They were put out an ad, and I answered. And when he went through my manuscript, he said, he felt there is a potential, like we can work together. So that was also a highlight in my writing, that somebody else saw a depth in me. Okay, so then his team, Mr. Nathan and Elliot, we are still working with Wordsworth, and Mr. Leo and Kate, they were so nice to me. So now my confidence as a writer, as an author, is building. So I feel if I can reach out to my soul family, it can be a profession, that because I have to, in this world, you have to be conscious of a source of income. You can't just ignore it. So if I meet the right people, right groups, then I would want to be a, traditionally published author, because I think in that way, a lot of work is given to the agent. And I because I'm very new in this industry, and there are so many scammers as well, when you're self-published. So in any web page, like, page I put on a Facebook, a poetry of mine, more scammers are interested because they can feel that this is a debutant, this authentic energy. So if I get the right people in my awareness, they feel that there's potential and we can work together, because I have materials, I have a lot of poems, and I love to inspire. It's just in me. I from a when I was younger, I used to do debate and everything. So I love being with the people and talking, but human to human, not oiling their status, not, you can understand what I'm saying. I just don't want fake conversation.
Exactly, exactly. Well, your work is out there now, so hopefully it gets discovered by the masses. Hopefully it gets discovered by the literary world, because you have penned quite a few powerful poems within the tome you have written. It is called Life Lessons and Love. It's a captivating collection of poetry that distills the author's personal experiences, transforming moments of pain and joy into universal lessons. You will explore Cynthia's heartfelt words that aim to connect and inspire readers around the world. This book is highly recommended, and the links are right below this interview. Synthia, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Thank you very much for the pleasure of letting me know you as a, like as a person to person, and giving me this space, this honor, like, because I'm a debutant. I am, technically speaking, I'm a no one in this publishing world, but you noticed, and that really is a very, it's a very nice feeling that, somebody else noticed my work, even though he's far away from me. So thank you very much.
Pleasure is all mine. Your work is beautiful. It's outstanding. Like I said, it spans oceans, it spans continents, it spans the globe. The words are universal. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time until next time on Spotlight.
Visit us at www.greatwritersmedia.com. Email us at info@greatwritersmedia.com or call us at +1 877 556 0487.